Prepare yourself for Earthling Entertainment with your hosts, Joe and Ryan.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Earthling Entertainment with Joe and Ryan. I am Ryan, and
Hello, I am Joe.
welcome. Thanks for tuning in. We got a good episode. How you feeling today, Joe?
I'm feeling good. Definitely. I wanted to say welcome to all our new listeners. If you are new, what we do here is a little bit of the spooky, a little bit of the creepy. So we have a segment that starts out called Spooky Stuff. It's usually cryptozoology or perhaps a haunting or something fun like that, followed by our next segment, which is Ryan's Disclosure Discussion.
I'm just asking questions, are we alone? What's going on? Any kind of new news report, I'm going to try to get to you guys.
All alien-centric, that segment.
Or, in extraterrestrial, interplanetary, interdimensional.
Space is kind of the underlying message here. And then the latter half
space.
of our show is all the entertainment industry. Sometimes we play games. Sometimes we have some movie news. This week we're very excited because we're going to watch the Acolyte trailer, which, if you guys don't know, is the new Disney Plus Star Wars show. We're going to watch it live on this show and react to it in real time.
Man,
but
yeah,
we're excited because Ryan, for one, is a huge Star Wars fan. Me too, but Ryan takes the cake.
Well, and they snuck this one on me. How many times have you and I been going back and forth talking about all the new movies that are coming out, may not be coming out, all the, and I never even heard about this one. Like, I heard something.
You know what? I think you did hear about this one because this is the Disney Plus series that stars Jude Law. It's all Sith-oriented, and I believe it takes place during the High Republic.
Yeah, I just know, the poster I saw yesterday was like, out of the light, a dark emerges or something like that.
Oh, yeah, it's very cool. It looks like there's a lightsaber hilt with a blood smear across the wall that looks like it symbolizes the red blade.
It was a fucking sweet poster.
Very, very cool poster.
But yeah, they snuck this one on me. You're right. I do remember hearing of the Acolyte, but I never saw that poster. They did a good job keeping that under wraps.
Yeah, well, the poster they just released, and then they said a trailer's forthcoming. So, hey, we'll be talking about that too. So good episode.
It's going to be a good one. I'm excited. Whenever there's Star Wars involved, I love it. In the beginning of the podcast, we covered all the Ahsokas as they came out, which was another Star Wars series.
Disney Plus series, yeah, which I believe is confirmed to have a season 2. So that's good because they really didn't end that. They were just kind of like, and we're done making them.
And I remember we talked about Balin Skull and how it's unfortunate the actor passed away. And I believe that they're going to replace him with someone else. They've got a lot of good ideas. I'm excited.
Well, there you go. We'll talk more about Star Wars later. But for now, we're jumping into our first segment, which is called Spooky Stuff.
The Nain Rouge, a.k.a. the Red Dwarf. The Nain Rouge, French for Red Dwarf, is a legendary creature of Detroit, Michigan area whose appearance is said to foreshadow misfortune for the European settlers of the area.
So like the Mothman, it is the Harbinger of Doom.
Yes, but in cool dwarf form.
Yes.
Gimli.
Okay, so for those out there who are Marvel nerds, he is essentially the Silver Surfer. Yeah.
Indeed.
Nerd electrical. It's like intellectual with a nerd. All right, just continue.
There are no records that indicate the legend of the Nain Rouge existed prior to the 1880s. So that's pretty recent. According to various narratives surrounding the figure, Detroit's founder, Antoine de la Mothe Cadillac, was told by a... I did that good.
Yeah,
was told by a fortune teller.
I was just surprised that his last name was Cadillac. I just didn't expect that.
Yeah. Was told by a fortune teller to appease the Nain Rouge, but he instead attacked it with his cane and shouted, "Get out of my way, you red imp!"
Okay, so to be clear, this man beat a reddish midget at some point with a cane because all legends are based on truth. So that means just saying.
No, mine. As a consequence, a string of bad luck befell Cadillac.
Yeah, he sounds like a dick.
He's a douche. He was charged with abuse of power and reassigned to Louisiana, later returning to France, where he was briefly imprisoned and eventually lost his fortune.
How bad do you have to be that you get abuse of power back in the days before unions where they could like make you work 15 hours a day for like a penny?
And they just kick your ass to Louisiana.
I'm just saying, man. Yeah, it's like, you're so mad. Go deal with the French down there.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
The Nain Rouge is also known as the Demon of the Strait.
Well, yeah.
The Nain Rouge first appeared in Marie Caroline Watson's Hamlin's 1883 Book of Legends de Detroit, where she described the Nain Rouge as a dwarf, very red in the face, with a bright glistening eye, and with a grinning mouth displaying sharp pointed teeth, completed this strange face.
It just sounds like the leprechaun.
I am the leprechaun. Hey, man, cool it out. The Nain Rouge was then included in Charles M. Skinner's completed 1896 book, Myths and Legends of Our Own Land, described as a shambling red-faced creature with a cold, glittering eye and teeth protruding from a grinning mouth.
Oh, man. Like, they all just keep saying he has a really, really red face. And I don't know, because all the images I see, they make him look kind of like a little devil character where he literally looks like a short devil with horns and he's all red. But from the description, it just sounds like this guy may have just, had a bad sunburn on his face.
Like a bad sunburn.
There's just this midget with bad teeth that everyone's all like kicking around. And
He's
like,
an Irishman or Scottish. He's all red haired and shit. And they're just like, it's a freaking dwarf.
I hate to say it, but people suck. So that is a real possibility. But that being said, if this is a supernatural creature, creepy.
The further back you go in
Why
history,
are people
the worse.
so normal about it though? Like they're just like, they were like, fuck that guy. Like not like, oh my God, it's a supernatural creature.
I think it's just, they brought a lot. We got a mixture of a lot of different cultures here, right? Who's come over. So they're kind of bringing all their different, ideas about what kind of ghosts, what kind of demons are out there. They're bringing all their folklore with them.
It's true. And also because they're settlers, coming to a new land, all the Indian myths and stuff could also get tied up in there, all their beliefs. Cause you hear, the Wendigo, for instance, that got into American folklore. And that's totally originally from obviously Indian beliefs.
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. And yeah, that came from, indigenous beliefs. So yeah, America is
Thank you.
Yeah, just
very, very correct, sir.
Yeah,
well
just a potluck of so many cultures, like I said, so many tales. So it's like I think that's how we get cool legends like this.
I agree.
The legend holds that Nain Rouge's appearance would foreshadow terrible events for the European people of the city, but foretell success for the indigenous people.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah, that's a little different, right? Everyone's freaking out. They're like, "Oh no, we saw it! Oh crap! I'm gonna lose my business. There's gonna be an earthquake." And then the one Indian sitting back like,
"Sweet,
nice,
sweet,
nice. Things are gonna go. Things are all looking. Everything's looking up for Silver Fox." Silver Fox.
I love it.
I like how I tried my best, and it's like to make up a fake. To make up a fake Indian name. You kind of just need like a color and then like an animal or something like that. And I went with Silver Fox. I went with like a sexy old man.
It's better than Squatting Dog.
It's what was that?
That was a joke.
I know, but what was that from?
It was just I don't know.
Man of the House.
Was it?
Yeah. It was a Chevy Chase movie with Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah. He's like, we had a squirrel named Numbnuts.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that came out of the memory bank. Ow.
Yeah.
Ow, that hurt.
It makes sense. You know that movie. You were in Boy Scouts.
I was
that was pretty much a Boy Scout bit.
It really was. Called me out there. I love it. No, Boy Scouts forever. The creature is said to have appeared on July 30th, 1763, before the Battle of Bloody Run, where 58...
Dude, that's a dope name for a battle.
The Battle of Bloody Run.
Yeah. I mean, no disrespect to anyone who died in that battle. I don't want to get haunted, but like, damn. Cool
No,
name.
we're giving props. Good for you.
Way to die in a bitchin' battle, bro.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, bro. Fuck yeah. Way to go. Wait a dude. History. Where 58 British soldiers were killed by Native Americans from Chief Pontiac's Ottawa tribe. Supposedly, the Nain Rouge danced amongst corpses.
That's kind of awesome. Once again, this whole thing is very metal.
It is. That's why I gotta use the metal voice. On the banks of the Detroit River, after the battle, and the river turned red with blood. For days later. According to the tale, all the misfortunes of Governor and General William Hull, leading to the surrender of Detroit in the War of 1812, are blamed on the Nain Rouge.
That little guy is the cause of all my goddamn problems, Ryan.
But
he shows up, and he's just the harbinger of doom. The harbinger of doom, Ryan.
But he's just such an inspiration for new metal music.
He shows up, my dog runs away.
He does, and Pogo's a badass.
I put up signs everywhere, and instead of getting like calls, I get prank calls. You know how many people asked my refrigerator running? And it was really ironic because my refrigerator was not running, and no one knew what to do when I answered that question.
I came over and helped you eat the food before it went bad. That's what I do.
You're a good friend.
I love you, and I'm hungry.
Ah, well, it all works out then.
I have come searching for food.
Nom, 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 nom.
That's right. That's right. There are no records that indicate the legend of the Nain Rouge existed in the 18th century when Antoine de la Mothe Cadillac was in authority in Detroit. The earliest record, Hamlin's Legends of Le Detroit, wasn't published until 1883, 180 years after Cadillac was said to have been cursed by the Nain Rouge. However, some claim that it originates in the early 1700s French settlement of Detroit, supposedly deriving from Norman French tales of the lutin, a type of hobgoblin, naturally, along with supposed Native American legends of an impish offspring of the stone god.
Okay, so there you go. Like we talked about, you got some Native American beliefs. I do like the idea of a hobgoblin. Like that's straight up Lord of the Rings in my mind, right? Like it's under the ground, it's a little red impy thing, and it's like.
I'm a believer of creatures under the earth. I really am. I really am.
Ryan's a believer in little creatures and mole man.
Then I saw that thing.
And he cursed my family. Beat him with a cane. Now I'm out of my mind.
Send me to Louisiana. I'm a believer.
It's a good thing. Yeah. See, I'm not a singer. What's your excuse?
I sucked at it. I can't say. I wasn't ready. You didn't think I'm not as good at freestyle, I'll admit. When it comes to freestyle, sometimes in rhyming, I'm not the best.
You know what's really funny, though, is me and Ryan took improv for years.
We did.
So...
It shows.
Well, does it?
It does.
Mr. I don't know what to do.
I knew what to do. I jumped in. It worked enough.
Excellent. So, little nimpy hobgoblin.
Back to the red little nippity hobgoblin.
Yes.
Wellesley College assistant professor Kate Grandjean, who specializes in early American and Native American history. My personal feeling is it's really not quite as simple as just European colonists appropriating some Native American spirit, Grandjean said. I think, and it seems to be demonstrable in the historical record, that the Nain that we know in Detroit today probably has both French and Native traditions sort of wrapped up in it.
This person really seems like they'd be fun at a party.
These guys really know how to party, man. Grandjean says the Nain Rouge is... I like that we've got like two Wayne's World references in this episode already. I'm a fan.
Yeah, so we'll do... But now you've called it out, right? Like the whole idea was we keep doing Wayne's World episodes.
I can't help myself. I love it. It's part of my childhood.
Well, that's your choice. And it's the choice of a new generation.
I love you so much, Joe.
All right, excellent. Moving on.
Grandjean says the Nain Rouge is a defender of sorts for those on the losing end of history. Historically, the Nain Rouge has mostly been a menace to those in power.
Good.
So sort of like a... Yeah, like a...
It's a little Robin Hood goblin.
Yeah, thank you, Robin Hood.
It's a Roblin goblin.
Robin Goblin.
Yeah.
The Nain Rouge legend has become part of contemporary Detroit culture. Each spring since 2010, a costume parade called the March du Nain Rouge has been held in Detroit, in which the
Woo!
Nain Rouge is chased out of the city. At the conclusion of the parade, an effigy of the Nain Rouge is burned.
Yeah, you got to burn an effigy. I mean, every good protest is burning what? I'm sorry.
In what the organizers described as banishing the evil spirit from the city for another year. The parade participants and spectators are encouraged to wear different costumes each year so that the Nain Rouge next returns, he will not recognize the persons who ousted him from the city limits and thus will not be able to seek personal vengeance.
I'm going to be a pineapple.
Good call. People are going to think you're a swinger.
Is that a thing?
That's totally a thing. Pineapple is the sign of the swinger.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah.
Makes you think about SpongeBob.
I don't have a joke. It just,
Yeah. Sorry, I can't do the SpongeBob. The 2011 event featured a parade followed by the banishment and a party in Cass Park, drawing hundreds of guests.
Because Detroiters like to have fun. Who doesn't like to gather for some nonsense?
We do like a good excuse to just get out and have fun.
Well,
At the parade, organizations calling themselves the Friends of the Nain Rouge and We Are Nain Rouge have protested the banishment parade, arguing that the Nain Rouge is not to blame for the city's ills and that considering Detroit's population loss, no one should be banished from the city, particularly those who have been there the longest.
see, I love that because that's a sign of the times. Because no matter what the fuck you want to do, no matter what you're into, no matter what you believe in, there's someone on the other side calling you a dick, and you're wrong, and this is why.
Yeah, how dare you have fun doing this parade? This little impish creature that you're metaphorically...
He's been here longer than you.
He did, yeah.
You want to gentrify Detroit we get rid of the. Okay, see that sounds racist.
But it's not.
But
But it's not.
Let's just backpedal and just say yeah. But all jokes aside, both groups actually join in on this festival and have fun, is my understanding.
Oh yeah. So both groups also work toward making the event a celebration of Detroit's folkloric ancient guardian. The banishment and effigy burning parade has also taken place in 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Recent parades have drawn an estimated 5,000 revelers each year. The 2014 parade included a speech from Alexis Wiley, a representative for Mayor Mike Duggan, the first white mayor of the majority black city since the early 1970s.
Just seems like an unnecessary fun fact.
I guess it's just a fun fact of just saying inclusiveness, I suppose.
Yeah, you know what? Detroit has always had interesting mayors. I know nothing about this guy. The
Hey.
last one was Kwame, and he apparently, allegedly, was kind of a gangster. So
Yeah.
there you go. There you
Hey,
go.
dude, no, I love Detroit. I love the people of Detroit. Like, yeah,
I just remember like that we had the Hard Rock Cafe, and then it was gone. It was there for like what, 5 years, maybe?
yeah, and I think we went. I remember we went.
It's a Hard Rock Detroit, woo! And then it's just like no one apparently went to the Hard Rock Detroit because it's gone.
Yeah, well, like it was stupid expensive though.
Well, yeah,
I'll
it's
say
a Hard
that.
Rock.
Well, yeah. And it so happens that the next March du Nain Rouge is this Sunday. That's right, this Sunday, March 24th, 2024.
No, for real, guys, this is a real event. So if you want to join in the march where you are just casting out this little impish red dwarf creature that's apparently the harbinger of doom, or some believe you're just being a dick and you shouldn't kick him out. Either way, if you want to join in on the festivities, here you go.
And if you like to play dress up,
Yeah, because
you know?
no, honestly, as an
I'm
adult,
not making fun. I do.
no, as an adult, there's only so many times you can get away with dressing up, right? Like if you go to a Comic-Con, that's a good time. If you're trick-or-treating with your kids, that's a good time. Hey, this is a bonus time, guys. You don't have to feel like an asshole if you want to just, wear something silly.
That's right. That's right. Smoke them if you got them too.
There
Just
you
saying.
go. Yeah.
Just saying. Recreational, baby.
I'm pretty sure the event doesn't want to encourage that, but you do you.
That's what edibles are for. And good news, it's a suppository. Anyways, going back. So here's the details about
That was a Futurama reference, by the way.
And So here's the information on the parade we've got here. The March to Nain Rouge. Will the Nain Rouge, Detroit's legendary Harbinger of Doom.
Harbinger of Doom!
Doom. I'm gonna sing the Doom song now.
Doom, 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 doom,
Okay. That was wonderful that we knew the first part of that. That was brilliant, my friend. He will appear at the March to Nain Rouge armed with witty barbs and a half-baked scheme to take Detroiters down a notch.
Aha!
Come to the parade and find out.
Come to the parade.
Come to the parade.
Join the rest of these jackasses and have a good time.
Yay! That rhymed.
I know.
The main event. All are invited to join in the annual March to Nain Rouge, a parade made up of the citizens of Detroit. Just show up. Noon. Gather at the intersection of Canfield and 2nd for a celebration of Detroit with live entertainment. 1 p.m. We parade down to the Masonic Temple for the closing ceremony and official after party in the Masonic Temple's famed Fountain Ballroom. You are the parade, so come masked or fully costumed.
Yeah.
Bring a marching band. Oh man, they're asking for it.
Bring whoever. Bring your friends that got a guitar. Like
I was gonna say, there are people who can do this.
Yeah.
Wear a costume. Build a human-powered float. So
legally it can't have an engine, but like people do floats on like bikes and stuff.
I get it, like a boxcar.
Like a boxcar. Exactly.
Yeah.
Human powered, as in not gasoline powered.
Put on a mask. Cover your body in biodegradable glitter. Whatever it takes.
I think that was just them covering their ass, being like, don't litter, make it biodegradable glitter.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, whatever.
Very
specific.
I like it. They very, it's simple. You know what glitter is allowed now. You're never going to be like, what glitter should I use?
For those who use a lot of glitter, I feel like now it's clear. You're right. Well done.
My conscience is clear.
Glitter.
My glitter. Should the Nain Rouge, Detroit's legendary Harbinger of Doom.
Harbinger of Doom!
Try something dastardly. We will show him that hope prevails in the city that rises from the ashes. Bring your sense of Detroit pride and sense of humor. Important stuff. Awards. Best of Parade awards are acknowledged and presented to crews and Detroit neighborhood groups with the best floats. That's watching.
See, that's cool, right? Like you make some weird, goofy thing on, let's say your base is a shopping cart, so you could push it, right? You win a nice prize. That would be dope. I would love to put that up on my shelf. Be like, I won this crazy thing that Detroit does, where we try to spook away a little demon.
This is amazing. No, I really want to go.
And once again, guys, Sunday, like this Sunday, March 24th.
That's crazy. The cost. It's free.
It's free.
There is no cost. Just come out with your costume and have a good time. When the parade is done, stick around for the after parties. We love dogs as long as they are good with strangers and are leashed under the supervision of their owners. No open carry of alcohol. Be smart. And that's what we've got.
That is what we got. There's other information if you want to go on their website that tells you suggestions for parking and things like that. But we didn't want to bore you with all those details. But the main point is, where was it again? It's the first paragraph.
Yeah, it's going to be. At noon we gather at the intersection of Canfield and 2nd, and they have live entertainment there, so it should be easy to spot. 1 p.m. is when the parade actually begins down toward the Masonic Temple, and the closing ceremony and official after party in the Masonic Temple's famed Fountain Ballroom.
So check it out. All right. And that's if you're local or if you have enough money that you could just travel on a whim. Either way.
What a cool part. I love that we were able to cover that just in time. Awesome.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Good spooky stuff.
Earthling Entertainment special report. So it turns out Nev Campbell will return for Scream 7 after ditching last movie over a salary dispute. Apparently, they didn't want to pay the lead in their franchise what she's owed. But Jenna Ortega left, and so what are you going to do? Earthling Entertainment's special report, yeah!
Ryan's Disclosure Discussion.
I'll believe this to the day I die. The Michigan UFO craze of 1966. 1966. A string of seemingly odd occurrences in Washtenaw County drew the attention of the entire country. The event centered on a sudden wave of UFO sightings, with reports by police and citizens at that time. It began on March 14th, 1966, when Washtenaw County officers spotted lights in the sky, moving at high speeds over Lima Township. And these same lights were spotted by the officers in Ohio, just across the Michigan border, and by observers at Selfridge Air Force Base. The sightings triggered...
This was 1966?
Yes.
It's amazing, right? Because it was before the internet. So if you're a police officer and you get like 30 calls, you know it's not like this weird organized like thing. I don't know. It just feels more legit to me.
And an Air Force Base, no less, is also in here.
Well, obviously,
That
legitimizes it. Continue. Sorry.
No, yeah. The sightings triggered investigations by the Civil Defense and U.S. Air Force. I love this story because I've heard of it, but I didn't know the deets. A few days following the first reports, the deets. Why do I think of the deetses? I always think of Beetlejuice when I say the deets. I don't know, I'm weird.
Fair enough. That didn't cross my mind. But although it probably will cross a lot of people's mind because in October, Beetlejuice comes out.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Don't say it 3 times.
It's a long await. Well, now they have
Can't
to
have
do
that
a
guy
third
running around in here.
one. Now they have to do a third one. So because you can't get away with having a Beetlejuice and not have Beetlejuice. Oh,
no,
shit!
God damn it, Joe. There he goes. Hey,
Get out of here, Michael Keaton! Get out of here!
You want to get nuts?
Go play Batman!
You want to get nuts?
Go play Batman!
Okay.
All right.
Jeez. Sorry, guys. That happens in here from time to time. I warned you, Joe.
Well, if people don't expect movie references from our show, well, then I'm sorry. I hope our audience gets these movie references.
Sometimes I hope they don't.
Sometimes
Because they just think that we're just insane.
Yeah, fair enough.
A few days following the first reports, the lights were spotted again at various locations around Washtenaw County, with one deputy reporting something floating in the sky, described as looking like a child's top. So like the classic.
Yeah, he was drunk though, but the other guy reported the same thing, so we're on board. Continue.
You look like the top, On Sunday,
That is a classic shape for
March
UFO.
20th, 1966. The sheriff's office received reports of a UFO landing in a wooded swamp area of Dexter Township. Police spoke to Frank Manor.
I mean, hold on though. If they were trying to be covert, if the aliens for whatever reason actually had to land, if they were biological extraterrestrial entities, a swamp makes sense, right? Because it's hard to traverse. So even though they were spotted, it's less likely you're going to get a bunch of people running up on you. It's hard terrain. So I do buy it that it would be a possibility that if for whatever reason this advanced species needed to land, on top of mountains, under the ocean, in swamps, rural areas.
To bring up the ocean. I was going to say that's why, those USOs are such a big thing for me too. Because
we can't travel in the ocean worth shit. We got
better
submarines, but yeah.
And if they truly have anti-gravity technology, being that far under the ocean, it won't even affect them.
Exactly. The pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. So police spoke to Frank Manor, a truck driver, who had gone into the swamp with his son. Here's what Manor told police. Quote,
what they don't tell you is he was actually going out there to shoot his son. They had a disagreement. Why were you going out in the swamp?
That's a weird...
In the middle of the night.
Well, I mean, maybe they're like, swamp people, like hunting some gator. You get up in there, go get on that gator.
All right, I'm done. I'm sorry.
Just go get the gator. We got to about 500 yards of the thing, Manor told interviewers. It was sort of shaped like a pyramid with a blue-green light on the right-hand side on the left. A white light. I didn't see no antenna or porthole. The body was like a yellowish coral rock and looked like it had holes in it. Sort of like if you took a piece of cardboard box and split it open. You couldn't see it too good because it was surrounded with heat waves, like you see on the desert.
Okay, so like that weird fuzzy haze.
Yeah, where like it almost looks like water.
On a hot road, yeah.
The white light turned to a blood red as we got close to it, and Ron said, "Look at that horrible thing." That's what he said.
Is that what Ron said?
That's what
That
Ron.
sounds like something Ron would say.
Ron. That's
Fucking
totally Ron. I love Ron. Frank Manor and his son Ronald, plus 40 to 60 others, including 12 policemen, saw hovering.
I mean, that's pretty good, right? Like, what's the odds that 12 policemen were drugged?
Like, what more do you need? What more do you need for credibility here? This is crazy. Like, why would they do that? This is back in the time of no nonsense, too, right? Like, if you were thought, you'd be thought to be crazy.
I don't know, man. This is the 60s. I think that was a time of lots of nonsense.
Yeah. Hovering over.
That was a time everyone did acid. It is actually possible the entire state was on acid.
It's okay. It's pretty possible.
All right, continue.
So they all saw hovering over a swamp about 1,500 feet away a brown luminous car-sized object with a scaly or waffled surface, cone shape on top, flat on bottom, or football shaped, and two bluish green lights on the right and left edges that turned bright red and helped illuminate the object in between. The lights blinked out, and the object reappeared instantly across the swamp, 1,500 feet away. The whole object lit up with a yellowish glow at one point and also rose up 500 feet, then descended again. After 2 to 3 minutes of viewing, when two flashlights appeared in the distance, the object seemed to respond by flying away at high speed directly over the witnesses with a whistling sound like a rifle bullet ricocheting. Like,
Okay, I actually do have a theory about this real quick. So you know how when your printer screws up and like like the ink, the jets get messed up or like the paper gets jammed and then it has to print like a test sheet. So what if this alien craft, they had to reset it, they had to reboot it so they land, and then it just goes through its weird little function. Like it does a little teleport, it does a little thing, it checks all its lights, it does its thing before it can take off.
right.
Yeah.
Because like that was a I was doing my best because that was one hell of a description.
Right?
And I like that they said scaly because if you remember, we had just covered the squid UFO that had just happened recently, and people remarked that its outside looked scaly.
Scaly's a really interesting idea. And then another person described it as like a waffle. And that, once again, could be interpreted as scaly. So
Right, which is
yeah,
interesting to me
that kind of
because
pattern.
we're talking 60, 70 years of difference here in sightings being described the same. That's really cool because maybe it's the same technology.
Well, it makes sense that what hypothetically these aliens are the same aliens. Well, it's been 50 years, so maybe their stuff advanced too. Like, why do we assume they're not working on their technology? And what if all these UFOs have been the same alien race, but they're just advancing as quick as we are? 30 years
Yes.
ago, we had a small, crappy little phone. Now we have iPhones. You know what I mean? Think about Nintendo versus Xbox. But so maybe in the last 100 years, these aliens, they also are doing a technological jump and have gotten better and better UFOs over time.
It only makes sense.
It does-
Honestly,
I don't
only
know if it
sense
makes
to-
actual sense,
to
but
me it
it's
does.
a fun theory.
I like it because you know me, like a mile beneath us right now, there could be a whole society. We'd have no idea.
Yeah, it's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Those are they're not extraterrestrials. Those are interterrestrials.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't know if that's a saying. Interterrestrial.
Intraterrestrial.
Intraterrestrial. I like it. I think they're dinosaurs. We're gonna go down there, and there's gonna be like a bunch of Triceratops peoples just going, "What up, yo?
It could-
Remember us from the Ninja Turtle comic?
Yo, it could be.
Triceraton."
Ooh, the big comeback.
Yeah.
So this apparently, so the
Turtle
end of that,
reference.
so the object remained in the swamp area for at least a half hour. Witnesses reported. The report gained national attention. More than 40 officers joined the search of the swamp Odd sightings continued, with officers spotting red and white lights in the sky, flying back and forth and then disappearing. The next night, more than 80 students at the Hillsdale College reported seeing lights in a nearby swamp. The UFO craze took over, and reports from all around the Ann Arbor area, as well as surrounding areas in Michigan, started pouring in. Michigan Congressman Weston Vivian requested that the U.S. Air Force send an investigator from Project Bluebook.
Yeah. There was actually
Ooh.
a show, Project Bluebook, and it was based on the real reports.
Yep.
And the one we're about to talk about, the Dr. Heineken. It's not Heineken, Hynek. Yeah, Dr. Hynek. Long story short, it was kind of like X-Files, but it was a period piece. It was really good. It only lasted 2 seasons. It was on the History Channel, which a lot of people found funny. It's a really good show, and they cover this exact incident.
I want to say it was on Netflix for a bit. I think I watched it there.
It's pretty good.
The agency that studied UFOs, which is Project Bluebook,
Project Bluebook.
Dr. J. Allen Hynek,
Yeah, Hynek.
an astronomer from Northwestern, was tasked with the investigation. Hynek arrived on March 23, touring the areas of sightings himself. What he found was something he called near hysteria.
It was the damn crazies.
I'm gonna read them like this. This is what it's like reports from people who witnessed a fire, Hynek told press at the time. You get as many different facts as you get people who saw the fire. So far, all I've been able to come up with is reports of a variety of lights.
Uh-huh.
Under pressure for an
We have no
explanation.
reason to think he talked like that, but continue.
I don't know why, I just wanted to.
Yeah,
Explanation. Hynek told reports during a press conference on March 25th that the sightings were simply mistaken observation of the moons and the stars, and the Dexter UFO was just swamp gas.
This is that report.
This
the
that
whole
report.
aliens being swamp gas. This is what where that comes from.
And this dude backpedaled hard years after this because the scientific community were like, you were so paid to say that. And he was. So he backpedaled, and he became quite the ufologist, actually, near the end of his life.
Hynek? Yeah.
Yeah. The swamp gas theory didn't go over so well.
Fuck you.
Many thought it was a huge cover-up. Maybe. Several publications accused the government of hiding evidence. Well, they would never do that.
Truman.
Here was the actual explanation from Project
Project.
Bluebook. A swamp is a place of rotting vegetation and decomposition. Swamps are not a province of astronomers, yet the famous Dutch astronomer Nain Rouge, in his book, Light and Color in... Oh, God, I can't do this, sorry. Light and Color in Open Air...
No, you committed. You have to finish.
describes lights that have been seen in swamps by the astronomer Bessel and other excellent observers. The lights resemble tiny flames, sometimes seen right on the ground and sometimes rising and floating above it. The flames go out in one place and suddenly reappear in another, giving the illusion of motion. The colors are sometimes yellow, sometimes red, sometimes blue-green. No heat is felt, and the lights do not burn or char the ground. They appear for hours. I can't do this voice this long.
No, you're almost done. Come on, you can do it.
They can appear at hours, at the stretch, and sometimes for a whole night. Generally, there's no smell, except for the popping sound of wheel explosions, such as when a gas burner ignites. Thank you. Congressman, yeah, because I think this guy's a douche, and so I wanted to make him sound like a douche.
To be fair, he's really not a douche.
Like I said, he backpedaled pretty hard after this. He was just as part of the machine. He was used. Congressman
Ryan has some harsh feelings about Dr. Hynek.
I do.
I think we're gonna do some research on this guy, man. I have a different take on the man, but continue.
Back then, he was a douche. He changed his ways. Like I said, he redeemed himself. I believe in redemption. Congressman and future President Gerald Ford called for the congressional investigation during all of this. UFO sightings continued pouring in from all over Michigan and around the country. By April,
We all saw it.
yeah, by April of 1966, the UFO frenzy had died down in Michigan, but the swamp gas explanation is still talked about to this day. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's how I knew about him.
People are unsure about that one.
30 years later, Douglas Harvey, Washtenaw County Sheriff at the time of the original sightings, told the Ann Arbor News he and Dr. Hynek were talking in the sheriff's office, and the scientist admitted he didn't know what the witnesses had seen, but felt it was worthy of further investigation. See, he backpedaled. He was on the phone for quite a while, which I found very enlightening, Harvey said. He came out and said, well, Dr. Hynek, what do you think? He said, it's swamp gas. He tells me 1 minute he has no idea what it is. And then he makes one phone call to Washington and comes out and gives a statement that it's swamp gas. Very strange. They did.
Actually, it's not that strange at all. I mean, that tells the whole story. I mean, you know what? If the government is just like, hey, do this or else, the or else is usually pretty bad. So you're probably going to do it.
I mean, it's famously bad. It's the Men in Black. That's scary shit. He says, quote, they did see something, he said. I'll believe this to the day I die. Somebody has kept something quiet, and nothing more ever materialized. So we don't know if it was the government experimenting or if it really was a UFO. I don't know.
I think it was what I said. So I think the UFO was having some technical problems, had to land. They did their little check. They did the little experiments to make sure everything works. And then they blasted back off. They tried to do it in a swamp so no one would notice them. People did notice them. And as soon as they saw some flashlights, they're like, fuck, get out of here. Shit. Gone.
No, I agree. I agree. No, it sounds pretty classic. Like this is like the same as that abduction story that turned into Fire in the Sky. They see this thing hovering, just kind of doing its thing. Tons of crazy lights. Maybe that one was doing the same thing. Like, yeah, they just kind of had to do a quick system reboot. Thought they were in the middle of nowhere. Didn't expect a bunch of loggers to come up on them. Same kind of concept. They wouldn't expect anyone in the middle of the swamp, like you said earlier. Just the same way that they couldn't imagine that we would start catching them in our oceans. We're
gonna get you, aliens.
We're advancing in technology like they are, and we're starting to really start to see these things. We're not even able to lock onto them, but we can see them in infrared. We can see them with so much more of our new technology that we've got. I can't wait. It makes me excited for the future.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge conspiracy guy on most accounts, but I will say that if you think the governments, the military of different countries don't have like 10, 20 years advanced technology that we haven't even seen yet, you're crazy, because that's obvious. So everything you think we have, it's just slightly more sci-fi than that.
I guarantee they have hovering technology like perfect.
Well, we know it's done. A good way to do it is with magnets and the temperature, right? So actually, because if you super freeze a magnet, you can make it hover. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, like sub-zero temperatures. So I think the first thing we're going to see is in Antarctica. I guarantee that's where they would do tests for hovering vehicles, because if the area is really cold and you use magnets, it should work.
And then we just got to like figure out how to make some kind of like engine that produces cold.
Well, no, I mean, you start there and then you backpedal. Like, how can we do this without cold? I don't even know what kind of scientist this would be, but I am not that guy to discover this, Ryan.
And then you hear about frickin' like laser beams coming from the frickin' sky, like these green beams coming down and shit.
That's been around forever, man. This Star Wars program. Come on, lasers from satellites killing people. I got that's like a James Bond thing, man. Come on.
My biggest worry is the EMP blast. That's my biggest worry. But
an EMP blast, it would be hard to not have that affect like a huge. Like, can you do a concentrated EMP blast? Because if you were able to shoot like just a country, then that'd be great. But like EMP, if it got the whole world, then everybody be equally as fucked.
Right. I believe that the whole concept, as far as I've read, which I have like no like. I don't know if it's true or not. Just stuff that I've read is like, it could be incorporated.
Gets confused with sci-fi sometimes,
it could be
doesn't it?
Satellites, right? Yeah, like satellite technology where they could focus it onto one specific region.
I honestly don't think anybody would be that screwed that long with the ENP and like everyone losing technology. I mean, people would resort back to like a very tribalistic feral state very quickly. And at the end of the day, when it comes to protecting what's yours, everyone would end up being back to cavemen. We'd be fine. It'd be fine. No, I mean, it might take a generation or two. We might have some little bit of apocalypse, but it would be all right.
Just a smidge.
I mean, some people would die. I mean, don't
Man.
get me wrong. We're
Getting-
gonna lose some of you.
It's getting dark. It's getting dark on the old Earthling Entertainment.
It is possible that we eat each other, but just a bit, just a tiny bit after the grocery stores run out.
Society of the Snow is a great movie.
Things will get better though. It all
They all ate each other.
All right, guys. So
Num. Sorry, I had to do it. You didn't.
I better have fun.
What the fuck was that?
Okay. So now we are in the entertainment section of our show, and we're going to watch the Acolyte trailer. So this is the new Disney Plus Star Wars show, and it stars Jude Law, and it takes the Sith point of view. That's kind of the take here. So we're going to watch it live right now, and yeah. So here we go.
Close your eyes. Your eyes can deceive you. We must not trust them. Tell me what comes into your mind.
I mean, this looks like the Jedi Temple, not the Sith Temple.
Right.
Life. Balance. I see fire.
A Sith, an assassin? What do you think?
Someone is killing
Looks like a
Jedi.
ninja. I like her face mask.
It doesn't make sense.
We got Wookiees.
What happened?
I sensed darkness.
Whoa, real cool, like, acrobatics going on there, like martial arts.
This isn't about good or bad. This is about power and who is allowed to use it.
What is that?
Oh, I just got chills.
We got plenty of lightsabers,
Ooh,
guys.
yellow lightsabers! Dude!
All right, so
look at my
June-
goosebumps!
Yeah.
Goosebumps!
Oh, Ryan totally has goosebumps. June 4th looks like. That trailer looked very cool, very actiony.
Oh.
It told me absolutely nothing of what the show is.
But it looks good. The costuming was beautiful. Like I said, you got some like martial arts going on fighting, like not just lightsaber action, it looks like. Like,
Well, I don't know if it takes place during the High Republic like I thought. It definitely looks like when the Jedi were still in power. So it's at least prequel era time.
yeah, those were definitely younglings in a traditional, the old school Jedi temple, all learning, all different races. Everyone had different colored lightsabers. Like I said, I saw blue, green, yellow, and of course the red.
Yep, yep.
Dude.
Yellow is fun because
I
we
love
don't
that.
see that in live action very often.
And that's straight from, like I said, like Knights of the Old Republic, stuff like that I used to really dig, growing up, that you could have the yellow lightsaber. That was the Jedi Sentinel. It's good to see them getting some love. They always got a bad rep because they just didn't get the greatest build back in the day on that game.
You're talking about what?
This is the video game. Sorry, rambling. Sorry, I'm so geeked. That was so cool.
Yeah, but what video game are you talking about? Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah.
It's the only video game you talk about when it comes
Because
to
it
Star
was
Wars.
so good.
I know, but I keep, that is not canon.
I know.
Nothing in that game happened unless Disney says it happened because
Well,
Disney
we-
owns the property, sir.
But we did get a lot from it too, like in Mandalorian and Boba Fett and stuff like that. They referenced a lot of stuff from that game, like HK 87's
True. Well, that is the sign of Disney taking something that isn't canon and making it canon, much like they did with the character Thrawn.
Yes.
The Heir to the Empire trilogy, which was written by Timothy Zahn in the late 80s, early 90s,
Brilliant.
everyone considered that to be kind of like the trilogy after the old movies.
Yeah,
And when Disney bought the property and they made their own movies and all this other stuff, they said everything that came before is no longer canon. This was 2013. So if it came out before 2013, it is not canon. But Disney since has taken many things from the extended universe, as they call it, and made it canon. Thrawn, the character, like I said, from Heir to the Empire, which was written by Timothy Zahn, they called Timothy Zahn back and said, hey, write more Thrawn novels, but write him into our continuity, our canon. And we most recently saw him in Ahsoka. So, I'm not saying that the stuff from Knights of the Old Republic isn't going to be canon, but unless they've said it.
But it, in fact, in itself, is not.
Exactly.
And I'm fine with that. And I understand that. But it's just, loved that game. I know I reference it too much. But back to...
you can't reference something you love too much unless it's illegal.
Right. So, oh, God. Back to
you made it dirty. I mean, you might love setting fires. That's still illegal. Come on.
I know, there's just so many possibilities. But back to the Acolyte. Like I said, the costumes were fantastic. We have what looks like
classic Jedi.
Real powerful cast. Like, it was, like I said, gave me goosebumps. Great build up. Like I said, we got a Wookiee in there. Who is it? Is it Chewie? Is it not? We know Wookiees live hundreds of years.
Definitely not going to be Chewie, though.
They live hundreds of years.
How do we know they live hundreds of years?
I thought that was mentioned.
When?
I'll have to look that up.
I'm just saying, in the timeline, right? He shows up in Solo, and he goes all the way through to the end of The Rise of Skywalker. So if he's, I don't know, maybe they live like turtles. Maybe they're 150 or 200 years old. I don't know.
I guess I don't know. I want to look that up now. I'm going to look that up later.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
how old do Wookiees get?
Right. But either way, but yeah, no, this is cool. Like I said, like I had heard about the Acolyte. I had seen other like fake trailers, fan-made trailers and like not trailers, sorry, posters for it. And so I wasn't sure if it was a real thing. So this is really cool that they snuck this on us. It said it's coming, what was it, June 4th, I believe?
It might have been June 2nd.
I know I sent it to you. Here, I'm looking it up.
Wookiees have an average lifespan of 400 years, 400 standard years.
So I was right. It could possibly be Chewie.
And they appear not to age over the span of 50 years. So basically, like 50-year chunks are kind of like how you section off their life. Like for us, it might be like 10-year chunks, right? Like you're a baby, then you're 10 years old, then you're 20, then you're 30s, 40s.
That makes sense.
So yeah, they do it in 50 years.
And I was right. That's coming out June 4th on Disney Plus.
June 4th. So if you're into Star Wars, which is kind of a controversial thing nowadays, Star Wars, it seems like people want to hate every new thing that comes out. But coming from long Star Wars fans, this looks good. We recommend it from what we've seen so far.
I really think that this is going to be, something the fans are going to like. It looks pretty fast-paced. Obviously, it's just a trailer, so they're going to make it super exciting. But I'm excited for this one. I even heard that Andor is going to be maybe getting a teaser soon. That's what I heard, but I don't know if it's true.
I think it is. Andor, as you may or may not know, is only going to be 2 seasons. The end of Andor, if you don't want to wait, is called Rogue One. Go watch that movie. But they're going to do another season, and I'm excited because Alan Tudyk plays K2SO in the Rogue One movie, and it just seems to me that you have to have him, even if it's only like a couple episodes, show up in season 2 of Andor.
I love him. He's the best. That was definitely one of my favorite droid that they had brought in. Rogue One was such a breath of fresh air.
K2SO? He's your favorite.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite new ones. I thought he was amazing. Like, he was so funny.
I agree. I actually named my Roomba K2SO.
I like it.
So I could tell my my Alexa to let K2XO vacuum the living room. And it makes me feel big. I get to be like a ruler of a droid. And they would all have their what is it? The obedient plugs on them. What are they called?
Oh, wow, why can't I think of that?
The point is, you know what's weird is
restraining bolt?
Restraining bolt. They would all have restraining bolts. It was the only movie that ever actually touched on the fact that they totally enslave droids.
Yeah.
Like, droids are slaves in Star Wars, and the only movie that touched on it was Solo. And because that movie wasn't super popular, people are just going to ignore the fact. And it kind of retconned it, where the AI inside the Millennium Falcon is this droid who is now permanently tethered in the servitude of a human, which is the one thing the droid was trying not to do throughout the film.
And still in love with Lando. I forget the scene. There's a scene where Lando gets back on the ship and
He's
he
like,
looks.
I
and
want
it
to
shows
fuck you, ship.
when he walks by the Navicomputer, it's showing the planet from where they like met.
Well, that's kind of beautiful.
I read that in a fan thing where it's totally true. So that was like a little thing that I think probably Dave Filoni was like, oh yeah, put that planet there.
So a few years ago, there was a movie that came out. It was called Fanboys, and it came out, I believe, 2010. I think they shot it a few years before that, but it was about a group of friends who tried to break into Skywalker's ranch in order to see the Phantom Menace before it premiered. I had an idea for a sequel called Fanboys 2, Felonious Bastards. And it's Dave Filoni, right? Because it's all about, at the time when I came up with the idea, it would be them trying to find the end to the show Rebels. I was really into Rebels at the time, and I was convinced that Rebels was going to end with like the big battle in Rogue One. And well, those who have seen that show, that's not actually what happens.
Yeah.
But in my story, it was them breaking into Skywalker Ranch to get Dave Filoni to show them the end of Rebels. But Dave Filoni's now like the guy.
Yeah.
He's now like the George Lucas of the whole thing. So you could still do this movie and just make it the end of Ahsoka or Andor or any freaking thing. And we could do it. We can make Fanboys 2, Felonious Bastards. You know, the first one had Dave Fogel in it.
Dave Fogel. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. I
yeah.
like Dave Fogel. He's the shit.
Yeah, a lot of fun people in that. And even, what's her name? Kristen Bell.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it was an all-star cast. It was a great cast. It was a great movie. I love the when the guy gets the Jar Jar Binks tattoo. Jar Jar, he's gonna be real cool, man.
Yeah, he's going to be huge.
His like whole back was a mural of Jar Jar Binks.
It's kind of awesome because that implies that guy somehow got concept art.
Yeah.
I like that.
No, yeah. Well, things leak, but like you said, that was back in 2001.
Back in the year 2001. 2001. Yeah, I'll go with 2001. That's not correct, but I like it.
It was like a terrible year, but a good year, but a terrible year.
No, The Phantom Menace came out in 1999, and I know that because this is going to be the 25th anniversary this year, and they are actually re-releasing the Phantom Menace this year. And in fact, some more movie news that I think we should touch upon. Did you know that they're actually releasing all 8 Spider-Men back into theaters this year? So what happened is the strikes, the simultaneous strikes of first the writers and then the actors, movies, most of them got delayed, and movie theaters are starved for content. And Sony decided, the last thing we put out was Madam Web, and that didn't work out so well. For those who don't know, it was a pretty big flop.
That was Jerry's fault.
Yeah, frickin' Jerry. But they decided that, you know what? We're going to release them all. We're going to release the Tobey Maguire films, all 3 of those. We're going to release the 2 Andrew Garfield films. And you know what? Even the new ones with, what's his name? Tom Holland.
Yeah.
So all of them are coming out this summer. It just seems like a fun thing, right? So we got looks like Spider-Man movies in theaters April 15th. Spider-Man 2 is going to be April 22nd. Spider-Man 3 is going to be April 29th.
Wow, they're really going for it.
Yeah, The Amazing Spider-Man is going to be May 3rd. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is
Never
going to...
saw those.
Okay, so hold on. Excuse me.
Sorry.
Amazing Spider-Man is going to be May 3rd. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is going to be May 13th. Now I could say it. Those were good, but they set it up to be a trilogy, and because the second one flopped, they never actually finished the trilogy. So that's why No Way Home, it was good because they brought Andrew Garfield back, and when he saved MJ, that was kind of a callback to his series because his series ended on a tragic note, and it was kind of the redemption of his character.
Oh, that's nice. See, once again, I didn't see that one either. I'm so bad.
Well, you would if you went through and saw all of these.
I know.
I know. Well, Spider-Man Homecoming is going to be out May 20th. Spider-Man Far From Home is going to come out May 27th. And finally, Spider-Man No Way Home, June 3rd.
That's awesome. They're doing them all.
It is awesome. And you know what? I might check some of them out. You know, re-releases never make, 80 million at the box office. They never did much. But I guarantee that, granted, it's 8 movies, but I guarantee they'll make more than they did on Madam Web.
What? Oh, yeah. And think about it. You can hit so many generations Spider-Man in one fell swoop.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of people, 20 years. I mean, the first one, I don't remember when the first one came out, but I know as a fact the second one, it may have been the first one. 2002 pops in my head as one of the original Spider-Man movies. So that right there is 22 years ago. So there's a whole generation of kids who literally may never have seen this. When we were growing up, and there was the Christopher Reeves Supermans from the 70s and the 80s, and those were before we were born. So it was, do you see this old superhero movie? That's how the original Spider-Man is to them.
Yeah, and it just you got to think it's trippy. Yeah, as you think
weird.
about
it's weird. The
everybody
generations
has a
who
different-
passed. Yeah, so here's a good example. So you think of Dracula, and you think of Frankenstein, you think of the Wolfman. These are the 1950s black and white horror films, right? You may not have actually seen the movies a bunch, but you're aware of them. Everyone's aware of them.
The classics.
You know what that is now? Freddy Krueger, Jason, Leatherface. The kids today, none of them are watching those movies, but they all know who they are.
Right. So that's our generations, and then you got the new one, which is Scream. And
I don't know. I think Scream's a bad example because that came out in the 90s, even though they're making new movies now.
Yeah, those were the jump scare stabby films. That one, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about slasher films in general. What I'm talking about is horror icons. We had the horror icons from the Universal Monsters. Now we have the horror icons from Paramount and New Line, which were the Freddy, Jason, all that stuff. And we don't know what the next thing is because it hasn't happened yet. But I'm just saying, isn't it weird to make that association? It's like the first time you realize the music you liked in high school is now on the oldies channel.
Yeah, you're in the supermarket just getting some groceries, and you're like, man, these songs slap. And then you realize, oh yeah, they're designed for the older people.
That's why you're buying groceries, is because you have a family, jackass. If you were a bachelor, you'd be buying food at 7-Eleven. When I was in Los Angeles, I lived right on Sunset and Highland, which is the heart of Hollywood. Well, there was a 7-Eleven right there, and there was at least half a year where all I would do was go to class at the LA Film School. I'd come back home, stop there and get a fucking hot dog and a Big Gulp, and I lived like that for a year. It was funny because I didn't want to go grocery shopping. I wasn't bringing women over to my fabulous 1-bedroom apartment. So it was kind of,
you were excelling at the
I was
bachelor
excelling.
life.
I was. By the way, the key is to go to their house. Just saying.
Ooh, all right. Take notes.
Coming from a married man who hasn't done this in years, that's the key to dating.
Coming from a divorced man, I still don't know. I'm kidding. But anyway, but no, I am a divorced man. But I really don't. I guess I'm not kidding.
Hear that, ladies?
Who the heck knows? We're all individuals out here. And by the way, last time we talked, you mentioned we were talking about they would make these cool popcorn buckets. And you mentioned the Ghostbuster one about Slimer with his mouth open. But you were off because that was Cinemark.
Yes, that is the case. So, guys, we were talking about sexy popcorn buckets and how the Dune popcorn button had all the joke that everybody was going to go home and have sex with it. Well, I said that the like Ryan mentioned, that the Ghostbuster popcorn bucket was Slimer with an O face.
Making an O face.
And while I am correct... He's right. That was Cinemark's popcorn bucket.
Yes.
AMC's popcorn bucket is the ghost trap that looks like beams are coming out, and that's where you put the popcorn. So imagine...
Much cooler.
It is much cooler. And while you can still have sex with it, it is less inviting to do so.
Right. Because, you don't want to get yourself trapped, at the end of the day.
That's one thing
Slimer's going to slime you. A trap's going to trap you. You're going to have to take your pick.
Oh, my God. I couldn't help but think of a mousetrap situation. That's the worst thing you'd want in a mousetrap. Yourself.
I'm
I'm just saying. All right, sorry, but that's where my head went when you said that. You're like, you don't want your penis in a trap. I'm thinking, oh no, that is the worst imagery to ever pop in my head.
And that is the advice of the day. Do not get your penis stuck in a trap.
On more movie news,
Oh.
do you remember what was it called? It was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
I do.
All right, so for those of you who don't know, there are certain things that are popping into public domain. One of those, a year or two ago, was Winnie the Pooh. And we got a rated R horror film starring Winnie the Pooh as a murderous guy.
And funny note, a teacher did not know what it was, and the students voted on, they had a movie day, and the students voted on that film, and the teacher did not know what she figured, oh, Winnie the Pooh.
Well, how long did they play it? Like, did she
I heard
leave
it wasn't
the room?
long. I heard it wasn't
Yeah, because
long.
that would be her. That would be on her if she left the room or something.
I heard it
All
was
right,
only
kids.
10 minutes, but it's
She's
still...
like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, but she was in trouble.
That's funny as hell.
But anyway.
All right, so Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey came out, and it made some money because it was cost almost nothing to make. Well, while other things are falling into public domain, the makers of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey have decided to capitalize on this, and they are going to make a cinematic universe. So we have
Oh my god.
it says Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey launching Poohniverse crossover movie with Bambi, Pinocchio, Tinkerbell, and more. Here's the image. But yeah, it's creepy horror versions of all of them. Pinocchio looks like this crazy. Pinocchio looks like the witch from the original Witches movie. It's got the long, scary nose and the bald head.
He looks like the dude from Beowulf, the bad guy from Beowulf.
Yeah, it's very creepy.
Oh my
I think
God.
Tinkerbell's in the background with some syringe. I couldn't really find Tinkerbell. And Bambi's clearly a zombie. Winnie the Pooh is riding a zombie Bambi. So I assume the twist on Bambi is going to be like, his mother didn't just die. Bambi died too. And now he's back like the crow to stomp all over the hunters around the world.
And then you got this little creepy guy just creeping around on the bottom. Look in the bottom right there.
Oh yeah, this
Like,
it's an
yeah.
intense poster, I will say. I don't even know what the hell that is. The
So-
Tooth Fairy, it's got like a claw for a hand.
Either way, it's brilliant because they made headlines. Even whether or not you saw the movie or whatever, you knew that movie happened. Everybody heard about that movie.
Yeah, everyone did definitely hear about this movie. And
It was like the Sharknado.
so the cinematic Poohiverse, and you could find this the poster online. It says Monsters Assemble 2025. I thought this was a joke, and it took a lot of actual articles for me to keep reading before I would accept the fact that this was a real story.
Well, and you always mention about crazy films. What was it you mentioned about I mentioned Zombievers.
I
Or-
love Zombies.
Or like you said the one where a tire attacks people.
You know
I
what's a
feel like-
great movie, Ryan?
What?
Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. All those out there who want to find a great indie film, Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. It's funny. It's amazing. It stars a very awesome writer and director who is goofy. You know him. He's done fake news reports all the time as his character.
Oh, yes.
Hello, how are you doing?
He
My
talks
name
like
is
this.
Onyx. Yeah.
He's like, I would hope that my God, Beelzebub, would come out from burst from the forest, from the flame. Dude, I love that guy.
He's great. I
He's
know
a local hero.
I'm trying to remember his name. His last name is Bowser. So,
But
anyways.
yes, you showed me the trailer to this. It looks brilliant.
Yeah. So if anybody needs a good movie recommendation, there you go. And popcorn buckets.
Popcorn buckets.
Popcorn buckets.
Look- yeah, but
So yeah, and then last piece of news is there's this really very popular show called The Bear. I don't know if you've heard it. It's about a restaurant.
yes.
Yeah. Well, I guess I don't know how far into season 3 they are, if they're filming or if they've just wrapped or what. But it turns out that they may have sneakily renewed it for season 4, and it's just gonna just keep on rolling. Like they're gonna film right after season 3, just keep filming. And they're getting right to season. So good news if you're a fan of The Bear. You know, similar thing happened with the live action Avatar series on Netflix. It also has been renewed for season 2 and 3.
Cool.
Yeah, so a lot of good TV news.
I've seen clips of the bear. It looks intense. I know it's a really dark, like there's comedy there, I know, but I know it's a pretty dark story.
It is. It is. And stars one of the characters from the show, Shameless.
Yes, and then it's got the guy from The Walking Dead who was the bad dude in the beginning, right?
I don't know, but that was not
was
well
in Fury.
descripted. All right, maybe a little better.
I forget
little
his
better.
name. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Great actor, though. Great actor. He was throwing forks at a dude in the scene that I saw. He just kept throwing forks at him.
Great actor.
That was the scene I saw.
Oh, man. All right, guys. So we're going to end the show today with one final segment, and that is Ryan and I are going to talk about movie sequels that should exist. We kind of did this last week where we talked about a little bit about my idea for Tremors 8, which, by the way, is a real spec script. So if anybody wants to see that, hit me up. This week, we're going to revisit the idea that Ryan and I have for Airheads 2.
Oh, man, this is a great premise, man. This is a great idea.
All right, so for those of you who do not remember, Airhead is a movie that came out in the early 90s. It starred Brendan Fraser, Adam Sandler, and
Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi, and they were
Chris Farley was in it. Lemmy was in it.
But those were the three guys.
Yeah.
So, long story short, they're a band. They're trying to get famous, and they send their demo to a radio station. After they get kind of snubbed, they basically break into the radio station to play their demo, and the cops come, and it's kind of a standoff.
And they did it as they painted a bunch of water guns to look like real guns, so they held the place up, right?
Yeah. So if you haven't seen that movie, it's a great movie, and I definitely recommend it. But we were thinking of a sequel. Ryan, I'm going to let you jump in here.
All right, so we're going to kind of start off. We're going to come back to Chaz. Now, Chaz is going to be with like a new girl. He's going to be a
now tell the audience which actor played Chaz.
That was Brendan Fraser. He was the lead singer and guitarist. Yep.
Of the Lone Gunmen.
The Lone Rangers.
The Lone Rangers. That's what it was.
Yes.
The Lone Rangers. You pluralize, like, you can't say Rangers because lone means there's only one of them.
So we could see that to anybody else, you would think, oh, he's made it in life, but you could tell he's kind of, he misses the touring days. So at the end of the last movie, they're basically famous because they go famous for, holding the place up. They go to prison. They make a live album in prison. So they basically become famous from that. So we're assuming at the start of the
Which actually makes sense because that's what would happen today is everybody did something like that. They'd end up on TikTok. They get famous. So this is kind of the 90s version of that.
Right.
They were on the radio and the news came and the cops and then they got famous because there's nothing more rock and roll than holding up a radio station. Yeah.
So by this point, they're basically re-releasing like the best of the Lone Rangers. They're not re-recording it. They're not recording anymore.
Yeah,
they're not touring.
They haven't had a new album in years, right? So while they're not officially broken up, they're not working. They're not together. They're very much retired. There hasn't been a reunion concert in 10, 15 years?
Right. So then he gets a phone call.
Chaz gets a phone call.
And it's from Steve Buscemi's character, Rex. And he goes, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and flat out and say it. Looks like I've got cancer. And unless I can afford an insane amount, which I can't, I'm not probably going to make it for too much longer. So what do you say? Let's go on tour.
Oh man, yeah, and it's gonna be a funny. I mean, cancer's never funny, but we're gonna pick a thing that they could just keep joking about. Like he's got cancer. What kind of cancer? Butt cancer. It's not butt cancer. It's prostate cancer.
Right. So it's obviously it's life threatening. It's something he's not gonna live.
But this is still a comedy, guys.
Right. So he says, so F it. Let's go on tour. If I've only got a couple years to live, I want to have some fun. So he's like, hell yeah, a little fight, between Chaz and his wife, right? But over this, of course, there's going to be conflict there. And then, we're going to resolve it with him going, I'm going, I'm going to help out. Let me do this thing, blah, blah, blah. And so we'll
probably end up having to make the girlfriend kind of a bad character. Maybe she's cheating on him. Maybe she's stealing money from him because, to be fair, just dropping your life and to go off on a concert, that's what you have to do in a movie. It's kind of like when a character, when a woman is supposed to end up with a guy or vice versa in a movie, you make the person they're with currently kind of a dick. It's one of those situations.
And I could see it like that way, but also I don't want to like make it as serious as cheating. Maybe just something as like, she's not as appreciative. Like she's not really like, you know.
Okay, well, she's got to be using him somehow, right?
yeah.
So maybe it's not like as dramatic as that,
Right.
but like she's in the relationship for the wrong reasons.
Probably, yeah, and him as well, right? Yeah, because he probably, he's living in the past.
Yeah, and like maybe she's not a playmate, but maybe she's a model from like, a swimsuit issue that like came out like the year after the first movie came out.
Right, they were both hot then, and they're them now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, which they would still be, I'm sure, pretty people, but you know what I mean. Like they're not like the.
I don't know, man. You
and
see
the way they
rock
look.
stars now; they're not
Eh,
so
eh.
sexy.
So anyway, and then we check in on Kip, which is Adam
Sandler's character. And
And
what's great is Adam Sandler's character in this movie, he was a lot more reserved because it was early in his career. So even though he was one of the leads, he wasn't like all focus on him. He was more of a quiet kind of weirdo.
And we're gonna keep that, and so he's still gonna be a pool guy. We're gonna have him still be a pool guy.
He's still scraping the tops of leaf soda pools for old people.
and that's how they're gonna find him, and he's just gonna be like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, let's go play.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
just,
They're like, is this what you've been doing? You have millions of dollars.
like I really like cleaning pools.
What else am I gonna do with my day?
Like, so they all get together. It's announced. It's making. It's all on all the social media platforms. All the metal platforms are all sharing it. So now it's out there. It's famous. So they're on the road. And
Actually, I don't want to correct you, but wasn't it that because they're old school, they didn't do any internet stuff? They just did like regular radio stations?
No,
because that's why they didn't get a lot of tickets at first, right?
well, that's just that there wasn't as many people interested. It was still definitely promoted and put out there because they were a huge band at one point.
That's true. That's
So
true.
it
But
was
it's
put out
it's like
there.
when I went to the Comic-Con and they had some original Star Trek actors who weren't William Shatner, and unfortunately, they didn't have a big line.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Likewise with other things as well at those cons. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So that's how it would be. So they would promote it. These record companies, their agent would do all the right things to put it out there, right? So they're out there and they play like the first couple shows are going to be pretty darn good. But then they're going to see numbers kind of go down, and then their agency is going to be like, "Hey guys, it's time to start the new time, so we're going to have you guys go ahead and start a TikTok. So good luck with that." And this is going to be my favorite scene of the movie right here. So Joe, do you want to take this away?
No, not at all, because I don't like.
Oh, okay, then I'll take this. So
I don't like this is going. So
there's-
basically, real quick though, what I was trying to say is
yeah.
they don't. I didn't think they told him to get a TikTok. I thought they later discovered he had one.
No, oh, hear me out. Let me say.
Yeah,
So here's how I thought it could go to be funny. So close in on Rex and
Adam
Chaz's
Sandler's character.
Rex was Steve Buscemi.
Yep.
And Brendan Fraser's character Chaz, like nose up to a phone, like, how do you get this shit to work? Like,
How do we TikTok?
like, how do you can edit shit? You can add music. Where's our music? Is our music on here? And like, so they're just trying to figure out. Then all of a sudden they hear music in the background, and they both look up.
All right, that's right.
And they
that's
turn
right.
around, and there's Adam Sandler with his phone set up in one of those things with the
With
circle
the
rings
ring
of
lights, yeah.
and he's doing like a popular
a little
TikTok
jig.
dance or whatever, and then he like comes in, if you guys really just like and subscribe and let me know what your thoughts, and he clicks off, and they're like, let me see this, and
It
like
turns out he has millions upon millions of followers and has been doing it the whole time.
he's like, you've got millions of followers, you don't even have anything on the band here, and then he goes, they don't come for the band, they come for the dances.
Yeah, this isn't about the band. This
That's
is what I do to dance.
So they're going and they're going through the tour. It's not going great, but they're like, whatever, man, it's okay, because they're gonna go to one last big place. Like, I don't know, like name like a big place in Vegas or something like that.
They're gonna do that giant sphere that's in Vegas.
Yes.
That's all lit up,
Yes.
right? That's. I don't think we'd actually be able to afford to shoot there, but we could CGI it. It's fine.
Right. So imagine that's what they were promised. That's what's gonna happen, right? So then this sphere and their agency and the record company get the numbers of the tour.
Like,
Not going well.
We're not doing so well, man. You know what? We're gonna cancel this whole thing. We're gonna give this date to a different artist. Basically, it's whatever big artist you can get, right?
Right.
Like, ideally, it would be someone like Taylor Swift, because then you could be like, that makes sense that this person would get the date.
Maybe
But-
Post Malone. I don't know.
Sure. But whatever big artist they can get, doesn't matter. They gave him the new date and the new concert. And
And then, so obviously,
so
there's a
what are our
scene-
heroes to do, Ryan?
Oh, and so before I continue there, on a side note, now that it's all gotten out there that they're out there, Chaz starts getting messages from his old girlfriend from the first movie. And he starts to have second thoughts about his marriage, about his life there, right? Because we already knew it was shaky. And so there's going to be this big thing where she's going to meet him there because he's going to play the big stage, and he thinks it's going to be his big chance to get his old girlfriend back, and I'm going to play the stage, and then they lose it. So that's a part of the big downfall for him as well. There's more for him to lose.
And by the way, by now
thinks.
his current girl has left him, so he's free and clear to pursue this other woman.
Yeah, he like made a phone call and after she hit him up and fucked it all up.
Things are done.
He made a dumb decision, right?
We just want to be clear, things are done.
Yeah, we don't know he made a terrible decision yet, though, is what I'm saying, like a little foreshadowing.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what are they going to do? They're sitting around. Rex looks up. Steve Buscemi's character goes, well, it worked once before. Then we do like the montage, like from the original movie. They go to the store.
They get squirt guns. They spray paint them.
They get black spray paint.
Basically, they're going to hold up the concert venue.
So they get in, and it's the same guy who ran the record station who was there, and he's working on the stage. He's like, oh, no way, it's you guys. You're not here to hold this place up, right? Holy shit, you're here to hold the fucking place up.
Yep. And because this is like a big event and it's not like a radio station, they obviously can't do this themselves. So they end up using the TikTok followers and asking them to show up. And they have an army of minions to help them secure all the doors and get it all hooked up.
And so it all comes to a head. Everybody's in there.
Because a sequel, things got to be bigger.
And then, so they do just something silly, just like a silly movie tactic. Like, come here, Post. You got a couple fans here in the back room that want a signature. Oh, that's cool, man. And they let him in there, and then they just shut the door and put like a chair up again, like do the classic chair against the doorknob.
You ain't going nowhere.
And then
Mr.
just have
Malone.
him shake it and like, hey, guys, there's no one in here. There's no chicks in here. And then you can go to the stage where here come our heroes. They're on the stage. They're ready to go. The audience is visibly confused.
They're like, this is not the band we came to see. Where's Post Malone and Taylor Swift?
Oh, I'm sorry. And right before this, at the side of the stage, there's his old girlfriend. And she is awful. She's smoking a cigarette. She's got like 10 kids around her. It's like an Adam Sandler-esque extreme. Things have gone terrible for this woman.
Yeah, we got to say like one eye amputee, like no teeth, something like intense.
And she's awful. Like she says like the worst things. Like her voice is like, you ready to come home with me? And he's like, oh my God.
Yeah, like and she's just gonna be outwardly racist. Doesn't matter to who,
something
anyone,
horrible.
something horrible, right? Like whatever people are scum.
Like way over the top.
Yeah.
So then he's like,
I like
beating
children.
Out of there. So he gets security, all the TikTok cronies to get her out of there, and he grabs his guitar and jumps on the stage and grabs the mic and is basically like, I know that you guys aren't here for us. We're gonna go ahead and just do this anyway. We're the Lone Rangers, and everyone's gonna be like, huh?
We should have one guy be like, my dad's band.
And then he's like, 1, 2, 3, and then they start playing the classic song. No. And the whole thing, we forgot that the whole movie, they're going to be like, we got to write this new song. And they're trying to write this new song. So that's going to be going the whole time throughout the movie.
Yeah, like a big cathartic moment. They'll play the new song.
And they play the new song and then that's when, while they're playing, everybody starts bringing out their cell phones and, TikToking, being like, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Suddenly it's trending.
Then all of a sudden the cops storm the stage because it's hit the fan. There's SWAT team everywhere. They're coming down from the ceiling. Rex does like a drop kick to like one of the cops and runs off. Now everybody's TikToking. Holy shit. We're all being held hostage. I'm being held hostage. It's the band from the 90s.
It's the band from the 90s.
So
it would be kind of funny if
huge. And it explodes from there, bigger than anything they could have dreamed of. And so go ahead, after they're being tackled, like have a lot of funny shit with like the police tackling them and shit.
So similar to the first movie, they do get in trouble because you can't have people get away with rat. And they go to jail, stuff like that. But instead of getting really kind of famous, they just kind of get a little bit of famous. But the thing is then, there's cancer. He's got the cancer. So he's in the hospital. And it's really sad. And then it's just like, oh no, wait. It's okay because I forgot. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. The way I think we originally said was it would kind of end with that. We would have it come down from that, and then
it was the credits.
All right. On one side of the screen,
and
the other side.
Pictures. All right. So excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, of course.
I lost my train of thought.
No, go ahead.
But what's happened is, like he said, so that's the end of the movie. Now we have in the credits, we have pictures of Steve Buscemi in the hospital with famous rock stars all surrounding him, just like, yeah, we all visited him. This is so metal, and it will turn out that he does end up getting it cured.
And we show like a GoFundMe, like them like holding up like a big poster of like GoFundMe.
So
where-
we're telling more of the story in the credits, and the GoFundMe goes viral because they went viral.
and it pays for the surgery, and he makes it, and then that's it. And like the last photo can be like kind of all of them like, I don't know, like at a barbecue or something like that, where it's just like where it's a great ending to the whole thing. Like he got his surgery.
Well, you know, it's got to end like the Vin Diesel film. It's all about the family.
It's all about family.
the family.
Family.
So yeah, guys, that was a little bit of a maybe we should have rehearsed it first, but this was a great idea that we came up with about a week or two ago, and we just wanted to share it with you guys. And if you are a fan of Airheads 1, you could see why that would be a great sequel. And if you've never heard of Airheads 1, you should definitely see it, and we're sorry for wasting your time.
And if you know how to get a hold of Adam Sandler and send it to him, you know, just be like, hey, this is a great idea.
But like, yo, Brendan Brennan Fraser,
Yeah.
listen, I got the side podcast you got to listen to. They pitched Airheads 2 better than you could imagine.
He seems like the kind of guy that might give you the time of day. Brendan seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah, no disrespect to Adam Sandler.
Adam
but
too, but he's too busy.
I don't know. I feel like Adam Sandler would tell you to fuck off.
I don't think he would just be like, man, I can't even deal with that shit. You know, I think he'd be like, that's great.
I just feel like Brendan Fraser had a big lull in his career, and he's just recently coming back, so he's still going to be nice enough to listen to you.
Yeah, he'll kiss your butt a little bit because he's so appreciative of.
Well,
the
he's
fans.
a nice guy.
Yeah.
Not that Adam Sandler isn't. I don't know Adam Sandler. He could be the nicest guy in the world. And if he's listening to this podcast, I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm talking about. Please come on. Please come on the show. Please come on the show.
Hello.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's it for us here. This week's Earthling Entertainment. Tune in next week. And hey, guys, if you like the show, if you want to support the show, the best thing you could do is to download the episodes.
Yes, please.
That helps us more than anything else. And yeah, so from all of us here at Earthling Entertainment, see ya.
Goodbye.
Nipples. All right, ready?